Howdy, folks. I hope you're all having a great Monday on this anniversary of the birth of my beautiful godson. Jesse, if you're out there, happy birthday. Again, hope you guys are all having a great start to this week. I rewatched the movie Alice and the Looking Glass this weekend, and that's a great movie. It's one of those movies, and I don't know about you guys, but I take notes in movies. I don't care if it's a kid's movie, whatever it is. Hola, Guillermo, and I take a lot of notes, and this one was one that I had to go and watch again because I couldn't get everything down. It's just chock full of lessons and powerful realizations that we can have for ourselves. So if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. Great movie, Alice and the Looking Glass. Really worth it. And it really, something stood out to me again this weekend as it did the first time that I watched the movie, where Time, which is the character played by Sacha Baron Cohen, is, and it's just time. It's not Father Time, it's not anything else, it's just time. Sort of at the beginning of the movie, he has this row of pocket watches that are just hanging from the ceiling. And he grabs one which represents a person's life. And I guess this person obviously is dying. So he looks at the watch and he says, "Your time is up. I hope you used it well." And he closes the pocket watch, meaning that the person ceases to exist. And it's interesting because that really hit me, how you can take that clock and that the time really does keep moving. And what are we doing with our time? How are we using our time? You know, if someone were to ask you today, God or time or Father Time or whoever it may be, have you used it well? When you get up to heaven at the end of your journey, how are you going to answer that question? And I think we hear a lot about people who speak about that dash between the day that we're born and the day that we die, and how that dash represents and holds everything that we have done during our existence on this earth. So I wanted to just mention that because it really struck a chord with me, that many times we just let time pass. We're not worried about what that dash is going to carry. And listen, we don't know how long that dash is going to be. Hey, Fabio, sometimes that dash is very long. Sometimes that dash is not. So we keep waiting for that someday. We keep thinking that we have all the time in the world, and we're putting aside either our discovery of what our passions are, or we know what our passions are. We know what we're here to do. We know what we were meant to do, and we just keep procrastinating the doing of what we need to do, the putting into practice what God put us on this earth to do. So I just wanted to mention that because time is fleeting. Time is the clock keeps ticking. I remember, for those of you who are, and I'm a big movie fan, everybody who knows me knows that, who watched Wonder Woman. I know many of you did, and I know there were a lot of metaphorical references there, but I remember that part where he's the male character, I forgot his name now, Captain Cutie Pie, whatever his name was, is coming out of the water, and she sees his watch and she says, "What is that thing?" And he says, "Oh, that's my watch." She says, "What does it do?" He says, "It tells time." And they explain to him, and she says, "You really let that little thing control your life?" And the truth is, we're either controlling our time, using it well, or we are wasting it and time is controlling us. And again, I just wanted to mention that I bought myself this beautiful little, yes, it's pink sand, and it's an hourglass, just because it keeps things sort of in perspective for me. The only thing is that when this runs out, and I was playing around with this with Chloe the other day, we just go like this, we flip it around, and the sand starts going the other way. We don't get to do that with life. Captain Cutie Pie was in Wonder Woman. Yes, he absolutely was. but we don't get to do that in real life. Hi, Fabio from Orlando. Welcome back, and it was great seeing you yesterday. We don't get to do that in real life. We don't get to turn that hourglass around and have more sand. We have our time that we're here, and it's our job or our mission to do with it, make the most of it, and make the most impact and leave our mark on this world. Most of the people that you talk to, I think, if not everyone, it subscribes to the fact that we were put here to leave the world a better place than it was when we got here, before we leave. So just a note of that. There's a really, really powerful line towards the end of the movie. Hola, Neri. Towards the end of the movie, where Alice tells time. She says, you know, I used to think that time was a thief, but you give before you take. Time is a gift. Every minute, every second is a gift. And that is probably one of the truest statements that I heard and that I walked away from with from the movie, because time really is a gift. The fact that we take it for granted or we think it's never going to run out, is that's our own fault. And I particularly want to speak to you procrastinators out there. You know, I we know them, we are them, we have been them, whether we've been them in the past or are them now. There's always something that we're leaving behind or leaving for later or leaving for someday. You know, my good friend Cindy, who's a phenomenal coach and a John Maxwell certified leader, she has this sign that she uses at her workshops that say, you know, there are 7 days in a week, and some day is not one of them. And she uses that because she does a lot of time management. In fact, I'm doing a procrastination slayer lab with her in a couple of weeks, and we've done it before. We had great success with it. For anybody who wants to check it out, I'll put the link on here once I finish this live presentation. But she really has this way of helping people discover and uncover what it is that they need to be doing to get to that next level. And nobody left the event, the first one that we did, without having a plan of action, without having a course to follow. And we stayed together as a mastermind, that group, and I can't even begin to tell you the amazing success stories that have come from that. But again, I just wanted to remind you about this, that sand keeps moving. It's pink, yes, it's beautiful, but it does keep moving, people. And time is really, don't fight against time. Time is not our enemy. Time can be our very best ally if we're putting it to good use, if we're making the most of it, if we're really using it to our advantage. And I think that's the biggest message with this. And again, if you haven't, please try to watch this movie. Really, really just a lot of great, great lessons in there. Again, Alice in the Looking Glass. And I hope again that you are all having a great Wednesday. Jess, if you watch, happy birthday, and love you all. Have a great one.